Hello my friends, welcome back to my channel, Diamonds and Washi. My name is Katie, and if you're new to my channel, hello, welcome. I hope you'll consider subscribing for lots more diamond painting content. And if you are back, welcome back. Today I'm here to join you guys for a WIP and Chat. WIP stands for Work in Progress and Chat stands for Chat. So feel free to whip out your WIP and work alongside me. Today I'm actually going to be doing another kit up and chat with you guys. I'm going to be getting one of my diamond paintings ready, one of my next projects ready. So it's funny, I went a really long time without the timing working out for me to do kit up and chats. It was always just kind of your run-of-the-mill whip and chats where I worked on a diamond painting and chatted with you guys. But then 2 weeks ago, excuse me, I feel like I'm going to yawn again. I say again because I yawned a lot in last week's whip and chat, but 2 weeks ago we did a kit up and chat together. What I didn't tell you is that the timing almost worked out for last week to have been a kit up and chat as well. So I don't know what this rhythm is, but it is what it is. I just finished up my most recent whip earlier today, and I'm going to dive right into a project, a comparison project. So I debated for a minute on whether or not I wanted to kit up the round drill or square drill version of this kit, and I decided to go with round because I have had I've done a couple of bigger square drill kits back to back recently. So I'm like, I need some round drills in my life. So let me go ahead and open this up and get out what I need. Because yes, even after I unboxed this kit, I packed everything back up. It's just force of habit. But anyway, hi, how are you today? I hope you're doing well. In case you're curious, I am going to be doing the kit Twilight Vibes by Nana Key, aka Puffy Gator, and this is from Diamond Art Club. And the reason that there were two of them is because Diamond Art Club is testing out doing offering kits in both round and square drills. So I had sort of jokingly asked, like, hey, should I do a comparison? Like, should I complete both these canvases and compare them? And I was kind of surprised. I shouldn't have been. I was kind of surprised by the rather enthusiastic response. So I was like, well, I guess I don't know what I'm doing. And I wanted to try to squeeze this in before the event that I'm hosting next month in May for Marvelous May. So we'll see. I don't know if I'll get them quite both done, but it's fine. So we have the sticker sheet with all our pre-cut stickers. Okay, so 59 colors. I'm going to cut up into my Elizabeth Ward trays over here, and what I have is actually out of frame. You can't really see. I have a couple more trays that they have an assortment of different sizes of containers. At this point I have like 6 or 8 Elizabeth Ward trays, and I kind of just excuse me, I kind of just rotate, well, I just freely kind of grab from them to pick what sizes of containers and stuff that I need. This is a smaller kit, so I kind of think, let's see, 42.6 by 58.8 centimeters. Okay, I'm imagining, yeah, that we're gonna have a lot of these sizes are gonna fit in the smallest containers or the second smallest containers. So let's do this. I'm gonna cut this strand and put them in like DMC order-ish, just to make it a little bit easier to sort through them. How do you guys like to kit up? If you kit up into storage containers and you do kind of what I do, because I leave them in DMC order in the tray, and so I'll kind of pre-sort them first so that I'm putting them in an order. It's always interesting to me to find out how people's minds work organizationally. Well, this is similar to how I've been doing it for a while. But yeah, I just kind of like, okay, here are the 100s, 200s, this is the 500s, and got like the 3000s over here. So anyway, random thoughts for your evening. It is Sunday evening as I'm filming. Come to the end of a weekend that has been relatively low-key for me and my kiddos. Adam had a busy weekend up in LA, and the kids and I just kind of took it easy at home, which worked out just as well, because Connor ended up being sick and Mike and I were still kind of recovering. So it seemed like the world was just telling us to stay. The universe was just telling us to stay home and take it easy. But anyway, I'm looking forward to working on a round drill kit because, like I said, my past couple of kits have been square drill kits. The kit that I finished up today is the one that I was working on in the WIP and Chat last week with you guys, the one where I had put up that WIP and Chat a little bit late since I really didn't have a voice. I had lost my voice, and doing that WIP and Chat actually kind of did my voice in the rest of the way, but it was worth it. It was worth it. My weekly WIP and Chats are seriously one of my favorite things, and I think they've turned into quite the sort of staple on my channel. If I don't put up my weekly WIP and Chats, I always have people, they're always very kind about it. No one's being rude, but I always will have people that'll be like, are you gonna do WIP and Chat this week? And I'm like, aw, I didn't know you guys liked them that much. And I mean, it's pretty rare that the circumstances prevent me from doing one entirely. And even last week I was like, I just want to see if there's any way I can make it happen. Okay, just squeeze in. Let's put some 900s in there. Thankfully, I mean, as you can hear, my voice is better. I can still hear a little bit of frogginess. One of my friends listened to, what video was it that I had put up? I think it was a post, one of the post reviews I put up earlier this week. And my voice was so hoarse, so incredibly hoarse. And she was like, ooh, Katie's got like the sexy throaty voice going on. And I was like, I guess, like, if that's what you want to call it, I'm calling that just hot mess. Like, I've got a sinus, a borderline sinus infection going on, but okay. So anyway, I think some people are maybe more sensitive to, you know, voices and vocal quirks than others. But yeah, so anyway, yeah, the kit that I finished up, that's what I was saying. I apologize. I do apologize. I am still having a bit of brain fog and some scatterbrained feelings. I'll talk more a little bit about why I think that is in just a little bit, but I was just going to tell you guys a little bit about the kit that I finished was Beauty and Chaos from Made, and I loved working on that kit. It absolutely did not feel like as big a kit as it was. It was 60 by 80 centimeters, which is above the sort of size range that I find myself reaching for or even keeping in my stash anymore. But I am telling you that kit went really fast because of the color blocking and because I just was loving it so much. Like, just the difference, like the different things happening in every single little section that I opened and stuff like that. It was, let's do it this way. Okay. We'll make some room up here. It made it so incredibly enjoyable and fun to work on that it felt easy. It just felt very effortless. It felt very easy and very, very, very enjoyable to work on. So that was fun. I'm happy that I finished it because I love the satisfaction of a finished kit. And I will definitely do a post review with you guys on that one. Hopefully sometime this week. I don't see why I wouldn't have one for you this week. But yeah, hopefully sometime this week I can get a post review on that up for you guys. I'm always a little bit nervous when I work on a square drill kit from a company for the first time, and I hadn't worked on one of Made's square drill kits before. I was very, very happy with how it went. The quality on the drills was really good. There were a couple of drills that were a little bit more trash prone than others, but I mean, not terrible. And I mean, I had plenty left in every single color, so it wasn't a deal breaker for me anyway. So, you know, I can't complain about that. I know that kit is sold out, but I do also know that she is planning to restock it. I think you can sign up for, like, you can wish list it or sign up for like an email notification on her website. So be sure to do that. and I have nothing but good things to say about it. There were one or two little things. Like a couple of colors had just a tiny bit of gapping in the drills, but since it was just a couple of colors, maybe I'll try to really pinpoint which ones those were, because I don't know that I think I would suggest to her like tightening up the whole drill field, because then I'm afraid if it's tightened up too much, then the colors that didn't have gapping would pop instead, and I'd much rather have a little bit of gapping in some colors than risk any of the colors popping, because popping is no bueno. Popping, by the way, is when, so with square drill kits, those colors sit, those diamonds, those square diamonds, they sit flush. They sit really, really close up against each other. There's not really any sort of wiggle room like you get with round diamonds. And so if the diamonds are inconsistently shaped, or if they're too big for the space, they obviously then will spread out past the space that they're supposed to occupy, press up the diamonds next to them, and then there's no space, and so you'll see that like an edge pop up or a corner pop up. If you like run your hand over the canvas, sometimes you'll feel like the edges of drills popping up a little bit, and sometimes that's just like a drill that needs to be pushed down, and it's not always an indication of a problem. But if you're finding that every time you push down drills and then you come back and there's new drills that have popped again, that's probably indicative of more of an issue. But I did not have that with that Muni Made kit. That was lovely to work on. I thought the rendering was so incredibly beautiful. What was interesting to me was how different I thought the colors of the diamonds were compared to the color of the printing on the canvas, which it didn't matter. They were square diamonds. They covered up the symbols entirely. But it was definitely a different look. And the finished look was very close to the colors of the original artworks. That's not at all a complaint. It's just an observation. It was interesting working on it and seeing like, oh yeah, the colors do look a bit different with diamonds versus the printing on the canvas. But yeah, fun to have knocked that one out. Like I said, it has a good amount of color blocking in it, so, and some confetti. The details on it, the way that it looks finished, I can't get over it. You're gonna hear me just say all kinds of positive and lovely things about it, especially when I do the post review. So you'll have to stay tuned for that. Oops, I just tried to accidentally cut a diamond. So I am really looking forward to working on both of these kits and doing a comparison. It takes me back a little bit. I feel like one of the things that I sort of made like almost like a flagpole for my channel early on was doing some comparison videos. There was one particular series, a comparison series that I did that was rather large scale actually, and I'll find the playlist and link to it. I should go back and rewatch some of those just for fun actually, but it was of the piece Spirit of Flight by Josephine Wall, and I bought it and completed it from Diamond Art Club because they had licensing rights for Josephine Wall's artwork at the time. For the piece Spirit of Flight, I got it from Diamond Art Club, and I got it from Diamond Painting Deutschland. And they were similar in size, similar enough in size that it made the comparison, I thought, really apt and like useful because they were a similar size. I think Diamond Art Club's was, I don't remember, 70 by 90 something. I don't remember off the top of my head. It's been a while. And then Diamond Painting Deutschland's was 75 by 100, I believe. And the Diamond Art Club version had 60 something colors, and the Diamond Painting Deutschland version had 275 or 225. I've done 2 Diamond Painting Deutschland Josephine Wall kits with over 200 colors. I think Spirit of Flight was 275. So that was a really epic scale project, but it was a really, really fun comparison series to do. And I feel like that's how a lot of people found me at the time. And it was something that I don't know. I hadn't really seen anyone else do that kind of thing before. And so it was one of those things that I I was curious. It was like, this is something that I would have found really useful myself as a customer, as a consumer, as a diamond painter looking, where do I want to spend my money? That was kind of my thought process behind it, was like, this is something I think other people would find helpful, because I would have found this kind of thing helpful, to really compare, this is what this company has to offer and this is what this company has to offer, and not at all to pit them against each other, not to be like, let's determine who is the best, who's got the best one, because I'm a highly non-confrontational person to a fault, and my approach, I didn't want it to be about that. I didn't want to cause conflict. It was more a matter of, let's illustrate, this is what this company does well and has to offer, versus this is what this company does well and has to offer. And with so much of it being subjective, it's just, here's the information, you decide what you want to do with it. And that was actually very much my approach to, I finally did that June Blooms post review video, which I was highly anxious about posting, because I just didn't know if I would get backlash from anyone, depending on how anyone took how I presented that information. And I mean, I'm not totally surprised, but I'm pleasantly surprised that I haven't gotten any backlash on that. There's definitely a vast majority of like where people are landing on what they think of how that kit turned out rendering wise. There are some people that liked it, and that's completely fine. Same thing, same mentality. It's not about me telling you this is good or this is bad. When it comes to something like rendering, it's more about where does this fall on your personal preference scale? And so I hope that I did that. And that was my goal with that Spirit of Flight comparison video. But bringing it back to this set of kits I'm doing, it feels like my old stomping grounds in a way, actually, where it's like I'm doing this to illustrate something in a tangible way that I think other people will find helpful. Quite frankly, I wouldn't do both of these kits. I wouldn't do the same artwork twice, just in different drill shapes, like just for myself or just for fun. Like it's not like it's what's the word? A burden. There's another word that I'm blanking on that fits better in this context, but it doesn't matter. I guess burden works. Anyway, for me to do it, like I'm going to enjoy doing it, but if it weren't for one, sorry, I just felt like a piece of rice or something. We had Chinese for dinner tonight, and I think, I don't know. I think that it is largely something that I'm doing so that I can be helpful. Like, I love being helpful. I really do enjoy comparisons. That has been, that was a big staple of my channel for a while. I think I drifted away from it a little bit, especially because there's a lot of small shop owners, and I didn't really love the idea of doing comparisons that really centered much on, or a ton on, small shop owners, because I don't know. I love small shop owners, and I didn't want it to feel like I was putting them in a bad space, or making it about like, we're going to pit these small shop owners against each other. Diamond Painting Deutschland and Diamond Art Club, I don't think of as small shops, but yeah, I don't know why. Maybe just the non-confrontational side of me won out for some reason. But this is a pretty harmless comparison to do. Like, the stakes are pretty low here. This is more about let's see how they look. Let's just see how they look differently. I had posted the pictures of the canvases, like just the blank canvases, side by side in the Diamond Art Club VIP Facebook group. Again, this was just ahead of the release on Friday, and with the idea in mind that, hey, this is something people might find interesting and or helpful. Let me put up this picture, and just to illustrate, like, look, you guys, like, the size is different on these canvases, but the rendering itself is exactly the same. And the size is different because the size of square and round drills are different. So the drill field is going to be scaled differently, that sort of thing. And it, like I said, I just kind of added in that caption as kind of a joke or kind of a wink to say, should I complete like both of these kits and compare them? And that was kind of like a little bit of a wink to how I had done a lot more comparison videos like at one point in time. It was a little bit of a wink to how I have a bit of a reputation at this point for being a speedy diamond painter, and also just I don't know, like a little bit of a wink to the idea, like, is it ridiculous to do the same artwork twice? Yes, it is kind of ridiculous, but I've done it before, so I guess it's not ridiculous for me to do it again. And I was surprised by the number of people that are like, yeah, do it. And I was like, okay, I guess what I'm doing. Thankfully, these are not huge kits, and hopefully this will illustrate the difference well. And I love the artwork and the colors. I mean, it's Puffy Gator. You can't go wrong with Puffy Gator. I am loving the fact that I have not had a single bit of static yet in these bags. I wonder if, I think I noticed that there were, let me see. I don't see it in there. Some of them had like visible like spots marked where it looked like they had been marked for a pinprick. I don't see it on these bags. Maybe it'll be on the square ones. Anyway, I'm loving that there's no static. Not gonna complain about that. I did see someone in the comments of that post point out that when they looked at the pictures side by side of the canvases, that they thought that the round drill canvas looked maybe a little bit more darker or saturated, and was speculating on whether if that had to do with sorry, my brain just completely jumped the shark. If it had to do with the fact that you'll see some of the canvas in the spaces around where the diamonds will go, and so that maybe that needs to match the color better, as opposed to the square drill canvas, which looked a bit lighter in comparison to the round drill canvas. It was like, well, maybe that one's just not printed as darkly or as saturated because the diamonds are just going to cover it up completely. And I thought, oh, that's a really interesting point. I mean, the colors themselves, like the DMC code on both kits is entirely identical. So that shouldn't, you know, the actual colors of the diamonds should look the same. But I wonder if it'll appear that there's a texture difference or something similar. I don't know. But well, then there was someone in there that seemed to think that I was just being very greedy by keeping both kits and not giving one away because, quote, they were free. Not gonna get into it. I did decide to engage. I don't know that I should have, but I did. And I'm just gonna leave it at that. I'm not gonna get into it here. But anyway, so I'm doing both kits, and it'll be a fun challenge for me, and hopefully a helpful thing for you guys. Okay, I need like way more of these small size containers than I realized. I actually might at some point have to pause this video and go out to my garage and get more of these small size containers, because I'm needing more of them. The smallest size than I realized. So it's fine. It's totally fine. I have them. I just didn't bring that particular. I have one of these trays that's literally just all the smallest size, like this size Elizabeth Ward container. Oh well. So Friday and the whole thing, just to kind of finish and finish this sort of train of thought talking about this kit and everything that went on with this sneak peek. So unfortunately, UPS decided to delay things a little bit with my sneak peeks for last week, which was these two kits. And I was really bummed, and because I thought, like, I just really want to get this sneak peek up because I think people will find it helpful, and then I think it's going to be it's really different. Like, this is the very first time that Diamond Art Club is doing something like this, and I think it's a bit unique in that you're still getting the fully 100% hand charted experience of Diamond Art Club, and they're preserving that, but also not doubling the work for themselves by hand charting it twice. It's just they're keeping the same hand charting, and the round drill canvas is just going to be bigger than the squares. So anyway, it was something that was so new that I just had not from Diamond Art Club. They did not put any pressure on me. They're not expecting me to do something unrealistic because UPS was delayed. But I had in my head that I wanted to get this video, this sneak peek up as quickly as possible, like on Friday. So my sneak peek had been delayed to being delivered on Friday instead of Thursday, and the window that the tracking gave me was just like before 7 p.m. Pacific time on Friday. Like, I'm on the West Coast too, which means it's like even later than that. Like 10 p.m., like sometime before 10 p.m. East Coast time, like when you guys are going to bed. So I was sitting here crossing my fingers that it was going to get here before my kids got home from school so that I could just film and not have to do any acrobatics to make it work for me to film in quiet, because I have a really, really rambunctious and noisy and silly and wonderful 5-year-old, just turned 5-year-old, that it just would have been absolutely impossible for me to film if he were home. So I'm kind of sitting by the window, and I felt like I basically was just sitting in a little ball of anticipation waiting for UPS to show up. And with every like minute, an hour that passed that they didn't show up, that ball of anticipation was just getting more frazzled and getting bigger. And I kept trying to talk myself down and like self-regulate and be like, this is fine. This does not have to be a big deal. Like, Katie, slow your roll, chill. No one is putting this pressure on you except yourself. It's fine. It's going to be totally fine. Spoiler alert, it didn't really work. So the kids got home from school. UPS still wasn't here. I knew Adam had a commitment in the evening, and he was like, well, I have to leave by like 6 o'clock. And so if it's not here, and then we need to like eat like dinner and stuff. So it was like, well, if UPS isn't here by this time, then I have to wait until after my kids go to bed to get this filmed, which again, would not have been the end of the world. I made it the end of the world in my mind. It was a me problem. And anyway, so UPS shows up at 3:15, and per our discussed plan, our pre-planned plan, because my husband is wonderful and supportive and lovely, he puts the kids in the car and just takes them out. I said, give me 30 to 35 minutes. And then I should be good to go. And he ended up, I think, taking them to Target, and he brought me home Starbucks, and it was wonderful. So I filmed. It didn't go necessarily like as like super snappy smoothly as it does if it would have just been a sort of run-of-the-mill sneak peek week, because it wasn't just a run-of-the-mill sneak peek. It was something different because I had both kits to show. I wanted to really be able to point out and do some close-ups of some of the points of comparison and that sort of thing. And so that meant that there was then some editing that I needed to do. And I'm trying to like blitz through this. I felt like I was running on pure adrenaline. Again, all a situation that I created for myself. I'm just going to reiterate that. Diamond Art Club wasn't sitting over here breathing down my neck. They're just kind of like, yeah, what's UPS? What can you do? And you got a family. What can you do? It just, in my head, I'm like, I gotta go. I gotta go as fast as possible. I know that like my collage friends are waiting on this, and Sophie with the playlist is, I want to send her the link and keep them posted and all this and that and the other thing. So I'm trying to like edit as quickly as possible, and then I start uploading, or then I have to export, and then I have to upload. I skipped a couple of steps that are usually in my filming process. And it was fine, but I skipped a few steps that I usually do to try to make the videos a little bit better quality, just in the name of time. and I'm uploading it, and I'm like, okay, it says it's going to be done uploading, you know, and I'm like, okay, so I think it's going to be 3 minutes. Of course I forgot, because I'm never under like this level of time crunch. I forgot, like, oh no, then it processes and then it runs checks to make sure that like there's no restrictions it needs to place. All this to say, I think it was 2 hours later. I was going nonstop for 2 hours, and trying, like, but when I'm home with the kids, I was like, okay, mommy still got to finish some stuff. And like dinner time is coming up. Bless my husband. It was kind of a mad dash. And then it was done, and then I was like, oh, let me put up some pictures like in VIP to be helpful, and all this other stuff. And so it was a little nutty, and I ended up putting myself on kind of an emotional roller coaster, because I think I just get in my own head about setting a particular standard and set of expectations for myself. And it's funny, not funny, because I'll be the very first person to tell other people and to remind other people, like, give yourself grace. Like, you can't do everything. Like, you need to take care of your mental health, your physical health. You need to take care of you, and make sure that like your priorities are in such a way that you can take care of you. And I'll smile and nod if you say it to me and be like, yeah, I know, I'm trying. But truly, I'm the last person that can effectively take that advice of like, I need to give myself grace and blah, blah, blah. I know it in theory, but in practice, sometimes it just doesn't happen. So Friday was an emotional roller coaster, because then it was a little bit of like a letdown. And then there was just a particular comment that really made me feel very less than, like just very small, and very like had me questioning like the work that I do. Like, can I even call it work? Can I don't know. It was something, kind of tailspin of my mind just a little bit. And then I, had friends that helped kind of set me straight and supported me and all of that. But yeah, it was funny. It was funny. And I kind of came out the other side of it like, okay, how can I handle that a little bit better next time? But at the end of the day, it got done, and people seem very excited. I'm very excited. I hope Diamond Art Club is really excited about how the launch went, because these kits sold out really fast. Both sizes, both drill shapes rather. They did sell out really quickly, and so I'm like, hopefully that counts then as a successful launch. Now, what they've said is that they're going to be testing out this, releasing kits in both drill shapes. They're going to be testing that out with select kits over, I think, like the coming weeks and months. We'll see. And depending just on how that goes, what the feedback is like, how the sales numbers do, I'm sure, and lots of other factors that I don't know, that I just assume they're keeping a finger on the pulse of, that'll determine, I suppose, whether or not this really rolls out in a more wide scale fashion. So fingers crossed. I like the idea, and I like that you're not having to sacrifice anything about the rendering for it. So anyway, that was like one of the most eventful things that happened with my week. That whole day, Friday, was something else for my head. But we got through it, and it did have me sort of revisiting. I'm a highly introspective person. It does have me always kind of thinking on and finding the balance and working through the tension of creating content that's for myself and content that's for others. And usually that, if that were a Venn diagram, there's a whole lot of overlap. But sometimes it's still, I want to make sure my head is in the right place and that I'm finding a good sort of mental, emotional balance with all that. Okay, I need to grab this set of small containers. I'm not out yet, but I'm getting close. I do think I'm gonna have to pause and run out to where I have my other trays stored and grab some more. But let's see. Yeah, these all look like they're mostly smaller smaller ones. Look at these pretty colors though, you guys. I'm loving it. Yeah, so that was kind of the day and the week. A lot going on emotionally in that sense, I suppose. I did have a nice little decompression time on Saturday. I was at home solo with the kiddos, and I had the thought that I wanted to do a little pop-up live, but I really didn't want to necessarily do like a whole public pop-up live where I just would have been basically minding the chat most of the time. It's like I actually want to do some diamond painting, but I want to feel like I have some company while I do it. And so I ended up doing a pop-up live for my Patreon, and it was just, I called it like a co-working stream. And a lot of people do this kind of thing over like on Twitch, which I know I mentioned, I think last week here, that I was considering kind of kicking around the idea of like streaming on Twitch in this sort of format, because just generally speaking, the vibe over on Twitch is much slower paced. Even if there's tons of people like viewing, it tends to be more of a co-working space as opposed to like a high chatter space. At least the crafting and diamond painting streams that I've been in on, that I basically 90% lurk, because sometimes it's just really nice to be working and feel like you've got someone keeping you company. It's one of the reasons I really enjoy doing and listening to WIP and Chats. But that was really fun. That's the first time I've done a pop-up style live that was for Patreon, and I think I want to do that again. It was one of those like really short notice things, and it was good. I enjoyed it, and I got some work done and got to feel like I was co-working. I was stuck on that term. And it was fine because my kids were running around in the background. I had to step away a couple of times because Micah, would want me to do something with him or help him with something. He mostly hung out beside me and just like kind of played on his tablet and chattered and stuck his hands in frame a few times, which was very charming and adorable. It was a bit of a relaxing weekend, though. I did have kind of a tough time on Saturday night last night where, again, I think it was just this weird like emotional letdown from the week. I've also got just a lot on my mind and on my plate with life, like personal life stuff that's going on. Things like, Adam's job hunt and the kids being sick, and I have like an appointment tomorrow that I'm really anxious about for myself, and just a lot. And so I found myself in kind of a spiral. And I didn't really want to talk to anyone about it because I turtle. I hunker down sometimes when I'm going through stuff. And yeah, so today's a better day though. I feel like I'm in a bit healthier mental space. And hopefully tomorrow will be even better, especially once I get through that appointment and stuff like that. But look at these pretty pinks. Oh my gosh, that's so pretty. I love pinks. Give me all the pinks. All right, I'm gonna be so close. I'm probably just gonna end up using some of the like second smallest container, and they'll just have not that much in them because I don't want to have to run out to the garage. I'm gonna be so close. Anyway, I just am like counting what I have left. Excuse me, I really hope that wasn't too loud. Yeah. So like I said, the boys have been a little under the weather. I think it was 2 different kinds of bugs, unfortunately. That one, that has the tiniest bit of static. All right, let's go dryer sheet. My little handy bag of cut up dryer sheet squares here. Just to make that easy when I go to use that color. Yeah, so Micah and I were sharing some kind of sinus bug, and unfortunately his nose was runny enough. He had to miss some school and some speech therapy, just because I'm not looking to not looking for him to share germs with other kids or teachers. And so, yeah, he stayed home for a couple of days. And then Connor kind of unexpectedly on Thursday, he got home from school and seemed kind of low energy. That doesn't want to pop open, and my nails are not doing the trick here. And he was like starting to look a little glassy-eyed and was just real chill on the couch and stuff like that. And I'm kind of keeping an eye on him. He didn't really want to eat too much. He just seemed a little bit off. And then he started complaining about how he felt a little bit dizzy and he had a bit of a headache. And I immediately went over to check, and sure enough, I'm like, you feel warm. Let me go get the thermometer. And yeah, he had a low-grade fever, which basically it seems like anytime Connor gets a virus, he gets a low-grade fever. Unfortunately, I have such strong associations with him having a fever or being low energy with when he had that crazy stomach issue. It's been over a year now, but I feel like I still have some lingering anxiety. I hesitate. I don't want to misuse the phrase PTSD, though I would think that is potentially appropriate in some form with this situation. But him being really low energy and having a fever were some of the things that happened in the lead up to that. And I did a WIP and Chat where I talked about that when it happened. If I remember, I'll link it in the description box in case you are new and you're curious. He's fine, just for what it's worth. He's completely fine, and everything is like nothing happened really. Anyway, so I was actually then really relieved in a way when he said, "Oh, my throat hurts when I swallow." I felt relieved because I thought I can pinpoint what this may be then, and I don't have to worry that it's like a blockage in his intestines or something, really drastic and terrible. He had like a super low energy couple of days. We kept him home from school on Friday, of course, which we were just kind of monitoring him to see. And the fever stayed really low grade and nothing else really came of it. He just had like a day or two that he wanted to kind of just camp out on the couch. And I gave him medicine for the fever and that seemed to do the trick. He's already bounced back quite a bit. We might send him back to school tomorrow. We'll see. And Micah seems to be pretty much back to his normal bubbly self, though bugs don't slow Micah down very much anymore. We lucked out. We didn't have too many. We weren't sick very much here at the beginning of the year, but the past couple weeks we've been hit by a couple of things. Maybe the change in seasons triggers some stuff. I don't know, but hopefully we are all on the upswing, though. Of course, now it's allergy season, which is just lovely. But I am. What else is going on? Oh, I glanced over my shoulder and saw Adam over there, and saw the show he's watching. But I've continued to enjoy watching the TV show The Magicians on Netflix, which I feel like I have to be really cautious in even recommending or mentioning that show because it needs like all kinds of potential trigger warnings. Like, it gets very dark and very gritty. I'm actually kind of surprised that I'm enjoying it and like getting through it. I think because the rest of the story is just so good. But yeah, if you haven't watched the show and you are considering picking it up to watch, I really have to strongly caution you because there are multiple things that would warrant trigger or content warnings depending on what might be problematic for you. So but I got like 2.5 seasons into it, and I had mentioned to Adam that I was going to be watching it, and I was like, is it okay like if this is one of those shows that we don't save to try to watch together? He's like, yeah, that's totally fine. Because I was like, was this one of the ones that we said we wanted to save? And I said, or am I mixing it up with the Umbrella Academy? And he's like, yeah, I think this one's fine. The Umbrella Academy, yeah, like if we're going to watch it, let's watch it together. I was like, that's fine. But I got like 2.5 seasons into this one, into the Magicians, and I just turned to Adam at one point. I was like, I think you have to watch the show. I said, I think you have like a tolerance for the subject matter. And I said, the humor in it, like the quips and the references and the everything, I think are just going to be right up your alley. I think you would enjoy it. And so he started it a few days ago, and he's enjoying it. So I was right. So I've mostly been watching that show. I'm a few episodes into season 4 now, and there's 5 seasons in total on Netflix, from what I understand. And they're shorter seasons, at least compared to how they used to do TV shows. They're like 13-ish episode seasons. Back in my day, when I was growing up, TV shows were 24-ish episodes, and now seasons were 24-ish episodes, and now they do these like real mini series style shows, or shorter style shows. And it's interesting. Adam and I have talked a lot about that because we're nerds like this, about how that shift from there being like this space when there's like 24 episodes in a season. He's giggling at something that's going on in the show. When there's 24 episodes in a season, that means that there is space. There are episodes that are designed to be more filler episodes. And often in TV shows, when they've had the space to do these filler style episodes, I'm thinking in like Star Trek and Supernatural and other shows like that they have the space to do these one-off episodes that don't necessarily like push the overarching plot forward. Sometimes those episodes are still the most magical because they get to try stuff that's really out of the box. But this shift to shorter seasons and like really jam-packing, like, and doing efficient storytelling in these shorter seasons has robbed some of that opportunity in a way. And so it's like there's pros and cons to it, because at the same time, you don't have to sit through 24 episodes of a season. Maybe that's just sort of an overall shift in our society where it's like we want to consume as much content as quickly and efficiently as possible. The whole rise of short form videos, which is TikTok or Instagram Reels or similar, YouTube Shorts. I haven't downloaded TikTok because I know that I am a very compulsive person, and I think I would waste way too much time if I had TikTok. I think that it would probably not be great for my mental health. Though I'm the stereotypical millennial at this point, in that I catch popular TikToks on Instagram Reels, or someone shares them with me 2 weeks after they've gone viral or been popular on TikTok. I have briefly considered downloading TikTok specifically because there is this one guy that does these hysterical A Court of Thorns and Roses related TikTok videos, whatever they're called, the TikToks. And often they get like cross-posted to Instagram Reels, but the format isn't quite right, like the way that they look and appear. And so I have considered downloading TikTok just so that I can follow this guy more easily. It's interesting. The whole A Court of Thorns and Roses fandom is on social media is so widespread and so wild. It's its whole own beast, and I'm just sort of dipping my toes into it a little bit. I'm in a couple of Facebook groups now, and it feels very indulgent, but it's also just very fun to have that. Yeah. But anyway, so I am enjoying The Magicians. I was listening to the Supernatural Then and Now podcast, and I'm in there, excuse me, I'm in the Patreon for that podcast, which is like dirt cheap. It's like $5 a month or something. And they did like a live stream when they were doing like their season 3 wrap up. and they live stream to their Patreons, and you can like ask Q&A and stuff like that. And that was really fun to be a part of. I was listening to that actually while I was grocery shopping. And I'm really excited for them to get to season 4, because season 4 of Supernatural, when they do the rewatch of season 4, because season 4 of Supernatural is when they introduced my favorite character, who then went on to be a regular on the show through the end of its 15 season run. But I'm coming up on the end of this. I think this WIP and Chat is just going to be a bit shorter than an hour. Well, I'm at 50 minutes. It'll still be pretty close, but I'm going to wrap it up as I get to the end of these. Okay, we have 3 left, and I really could use like 2 more of the small container. We're just going to put one of these tiny bags in one of the second biggest containers, and it'll be fine. But I should be able to, I could probably go kit up the square drill kit as well, because maybe my start picture on Instagram, if I had both kits kitted up and ready to go, that'd be a cute start picture. I haven't decided if I'm going to work on the round kit like start to finish before I start the square kit, or if I want to work on them at the same-ish time. I don't know. You guys can let me know what you think in the comments if you want, because I don't know that I'll have started these kits super quickly. Like I'll start with the round drill kit. It's like I could do 1 row of each at a time, split both kits into like maybe 5 rows, like top to bottom 5 rows. And like I'll start at the bottom. Maybe I could do like a row, a row of the round, row of the square, compare. Row of the round, row of the square, then compare. I don't know. Or should I just do all of the round at once, then all of the square at once? I don't know. You guys will have to let me know what you think. I'm a highly indecisive person, so we'll see. Like I said, I'm gonna start with the round one tomorrow, so you'll have time. You'll have time to leave your thoughts, and I'll see them and can take them into consideration. But anyway, this week, what's going on? I'm kind of kicking around the idea of there's part of me that like almost wants to take the week off, because I know that May is around the corner. It's going to be a week from today that you guys are seeing this video. Is going to go up on Monday, and then May 1st is next Monday, right? So that means events are starting that I'm hosting. I'm kicking off 3 months straight of hosting events. So I've got Marvelous May in May, obviously, and then Summer with the Masters in June and July, and there will just be there's more necessary weekly content, or Summer with the Masters, it'll be every other week for me personally. So it's like, do I want to take like a week off? I am feeling just, like I said, a little bit on the end of a emotional roller coaster after the weekend, and everything. Maybe it would be a good idea to take a little breather, but at the same time, I don't know that I need it. I'll just see how I feel as we kick off the week. I usually have a WIP and Chat on Monday, and then in a normal week, if I kind of have a normal structure in filming and stuff, a WIP and Chat on Monday, and then a day off on Tuesday. And then usually at videos Wednesday, maybe Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, sometimes Wednesday, off Thursday, and then yes, Friday. So we'll see how I feel. We'll see if I feel up to filming, because I'd like to, like I said, I'd really like to do a post review of Beauty and Chaos and whatnot. But we'll play it by ear. I may decide as the week starts that, hey, I'm just gonna, this is the right time, or it does feel like the right time for me to take a bit of a break. But stay tuned. We'll play it by ear if you guys are okay with that. But otherwise, I have that. It wouldn't hurt for me to do another small shop haul. I have a couple of new shops that I took some of our tax return to, just a really, really, really small amount. We did find out we're getting back on taxes this year, thank goodness, to pick up some things from a couple of small shops that have been on my list to try. So those are on the way, and I already have some packages waiting. So maybe a small shop haul, or I don't know if I have any. I do have a couple of unboxings that I could do, but nothing that's super pressing. So we'll see. But thanks for hanging out with me while I kitted up this adorable kit. This was Twilight vibes in rounds. Do we like the colors? They're very happy. Do they give you Twilight vibes, like the name? Twilight, like the time of day, not like the book series. That's just, that thought just occurred to me. I'm like, oh, are people gonna be like, oh, like Twilight, is this Twilight fan art? No, it's Puppy Gator. It's our little Puppy Gator tiger cub. Did I call this a lion cub in my unboxing? Anyway, I think what I'm gonna do now after I end this with you guys is I'm gonna go grab my other tray of small containers. I think I'll kit up the square drill kit just so it's ready to go. You guys let me know in the comments if you would like me to work on the round kit start to finish and then move on to the square kit start to finish, or if you want to see me work on them like in tandem, side by side. Also, if you made it all the way to the end of the video, there's a tiger emoji, isn't there? How about a tiger emoji for this adorable little tiger cub? Go watch the sneak peek video where I unboxed and showed these kits if you're curious. Like I said, unfortunately, they're both sold out, but it was not limited edition, so you can sign up for restock notifications. I wonder if the restock notifications are if you pick the drill type, the drill shape. Like, I want to be notified when the square comes back in stock. I don't know. I'll have to go look. But thank you guys for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate that you're here. Feel free to hit the subscribe button, especially if you made it all the way to the end of this video and you're not already subscribed. You're probably going to like it here. I try to do these WIP and Chats each week, and they're truly, genuinely one of my favorite videos to do. Let me know how you're doing in the comments, and yeah, any other thoughts and happy things and how you're doing and all that in the comments below. Have an amazing week, my friends. I'll chat with you in the next one. Bye.